Since the age of 18 years old, I had always wanted to start my own business. I would go into the library and read all these different business books and business magazines, and when I got into university, I would try all these different ideas. I even won a startup competition and got a few $1,000s to get going. But the problem was, even though I tried so hard for so many years while I was in university, I could never figure out a business idea that really clicked, and I never made any money. So after the lack of success, I decided that I needed to learn how to sell and I needed more business experience. So that's why I moved to Silicon Valley to work at Oracle as a sales rep. And after years of working in Silicon Valley and San Francisco with different startups, I still had that itch inside to start my own business. But I wasn't really sure what I could do or how I could get started. And you see, I didn't really want to invest too much money. I didn't want to raise any money because I didn't really want to build a huge startup. I just wanted to build a business doing something I loved and make good money doing it. But there was a turning point where everything changed. I just stumbled upon a random blog that talked about how you can actually start consulting using the skills you already had from your work. And I started to dive deeper, more into this. And at the same time, I really wanted to move outside of Silicon Valley and San Francisco, and I wanted to travel the world. So one, I wanted to start my own business, and two, I wanted to travel the world, right? It sounds like the dream. And at the time, this idea of becoming a digital nomad was starting to become really popular, where people can just work online from their computers, make money doing it, and just work from anywhere around the world. And I thought to myself, that's exactly what I want. I don't want to be in San Francisco anymore. I want to be in Thailand or wherever and, build my online business. And shout out to Peter Levels, who started Nomad List. This is where I really got the inspiration and, saw other people doing it. And so I was like, all right, I want to do this for myself. And so after doing a ton of research, I've realized that one of the easiest ways to actually get started with creating a side hustle or an online business where you can make money from anywhere in the world is actually just to sell your skills that you already have. You see, I was an account executive working in San Francisco selling technology, and I was getting paid a good salary and getting paid commission. And I thought, well, if a company is willing to pay me money for my skills and expertise selling, wouldn't other companies all around the world be willing to pay money for the same exact skill set? And so that's exactly how I started my business. So long story short, I bought a one-way ticket to Thailand, and I built my remote business, meaning it's 100% online, helping entrepreneurs and companies and salespeople sell their products and services, and I've been doing it ever since. So I've been doing this for a while now, and I come up with a lot of different ways on how you can actually sell your skills and package it in a way you can actually make money. So in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share some of my learnings and share some of the simple ways you can package your knowledge that you already have and sell it and create your own side business. So if you're ready for this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you wanna see more videos on how to start your own business, and let's go ahead and get started. So the first way to package the skills that you already have, or the skills that you might want to learn, is called done for you. Essentially, you're doing work for your client. So this can be in the form of contracting, freelancing, or if you start your own agency. So let's go ahead and give you an example of what I mean. So when I was a sales rep in Silicon Valley, part of my job was to generate leads with potential customers, get on the phone, and close them. So there are companies all over the world who need that kind of service. So I can, be working in Thailand on my computer, I can message a company from anywhere in the world, and I can say, hey, look, you got a great product or service, but obviously you probably want to generate more sales. So what I could do is I can create a service where I will do their outreach for them. So this is like a lead generation agency. I would send cold emails on their behalf, right? And I would pretend to be the sales rep at their company, and I would send all these emails and generate interest and generate meetings so that their founder or their sales reps can actually get on the phone with that potential customer. So in that situation, what I could do is, instead of doing the whole sales process, I can say, hey, I'll just get the appointments for you, right? I'll get the meetings. You pay me a fixed fee per month, and every meeting that I get with a potential customer, you pay me a commission whether or not it closes. So for them, it's worth it, right? So if you were to hire, let's say, someone who's doing that type of work in, let's say, Silicon Valley, that's gonna cost you maybe $5,000 to $8,000 per month for one person who may not even do a good job in generating meetings. But if you're paying me, for example, let's say I have an agency or I'm providing this kind of service, I might charge a fraction of the price and get commission based on every appointment I set. So it turns out cheaper, but you get the expertise from an expert. So why would you pay a beginner $5,000 to $8,000 when you can pay an expert less money because they're a lot more efficient, they can do a better job, and it just works for both sides. Because you see, for a company, every employee they take on is a risk, and every employee costs money, and they don't know if that employee will actually perform. If they hire someone who's an expert or an agency to do the work, and that agency or that person providing services has a deal where they only get paid based on results, then it's a no-brainer for a company to want to, outsource this type of service. This goes beyond just sales and lead generation. If you, for example, are a designer, or maybe you are a software engineer, or you're an accountant, there are companies all over the world willing to pay for these type of services because they don't always want to hire a full-time employee. Sometimes they just have one specific job to do. For example, if they want to hire, let's say, a software development agency to do one specific project, they don't want to hire a whole team, they just want to get this one thing done, then obviously it's easier to pay some type of agency or to contract someone who can actually do the work in the short term. So no matter what your industry is, or no matter what your skill sets are, think about ways you can actually just take the skills that you're already doing on a day-to-day basis on your everyday regular job, and think about how you can actually just go to other companies, offer your services, and you can actually just start making side income by doing these jobs. It's very simple, right? There's no risk involved. You don't have to invest any money. All you have to do is reach out to other people and see if they're interested in your services. And if you're doing an agency model, you can actually just do the sales and you hire another person to actually do the work. So you don't always have to be the one working on these projects, right? So that is going to be done for you, doing it for the client. So the next model that we're gonna cover is called Done With You. And these are going to be types of services that include coaching, consulting, and training. So this is where you're not necessarily doing the work for another person, right? So for the past example, I said I was going to send the emails for another company. I am doing the work and I'm getting paid to do that work. When it's done with you, you're kind of just giving your advice, expertise, perspective, and the other person will use that advice and they will do the work themselves. So I'll give you an example of how I was able to do this for my business, right? So, a lot of times larger companies will reach out to me and they say, hey, we just started a new sales team, or we just created a new product, but we don't really know how to generate leads with potential customers, right? These might be multi-million-dollar companies who were able to get to that point with one method, but maybe they never tried B2B sales. So that's why they need to go to an expert for advice, and they're willing to pay big money for that because it's a lot faster than doing it themselves. So they might reach out to me and they say, hey, Patrick, you're the expert in sales. Please teach us how we can get meetings with potential customers using cold email or LinkedIn. And I'll say, all right, cool, here's my fee. And this is how it's gonna work. This is the training we're gonna do. So I'm gonna come in for one day and I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know, and boom, you're done. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna pay me my fee. I'm gonna do a live training and it's gonna be online, and I'm gonna teach them exactly what they need to know to do lead generation for their business, selling their new product, right? So I'm not really doing the work for them. The work I'm doing for them is actually just training them and giving my expertise on what I feel they should do to get success in their business. So this is really good because I just have to focus on training and education instead of actually spending time to do the work, because they're gonna do the work, I'm just teaching them. So that's an example of sales, right? There's many different type of sales trainings you can do. But if you are selling something else, let's say you are a fitness coach, right? You're not doing the push-ups for another person. You're guiding someone on how they should exercise so they can get the result that they want. So there are different ways to slice and dice this, right? You can do one-on-one coaching where you talk on the phone with somebody or meet them in person and you coach them through their problems and give them advice every single week. Or you can do like group coaching where every week you have maybe 5 people on a call or like a Zoom call and you coach them all at the same time. You could also do a live training where you just come in person, do 1 or 2 days of training and teach everything you know to that audience. So pretty much there's many different ways to do it. And why it's worth it. Okay, so it's really worth it for larger companies for sure, because for example, let's say a company is making $1 million a year. If you have a certain training, let's say it's a sales training, and you can come in, consult, and optimize what they're doing and increase their revenue by 10%, well, they're making $1 million a year. If they go through your training, they can make 1.1 million. That's $100,000. So it's very worth it, right? So if your fee, let's say it's $5,000, but you can make them 100,000, it's an obvious no no-brainer. Now, one of the things that people, often talk about is, well, if you're just getting started in, let's say, consulting or coaching or training, why would people pay for your advice if you're just getting started? Maybe you don't have any social proof yet. Maybe you never have any clients. Well, here's the thing. When you're in a normal job, let's say you're doing, paid advertising or something like that. You might be doing your everyday job and it's boring and it's easy. You can do it with your eyes closed. But for someone who has never done it before, you look like a genius, right? So if someone has never done paid advertising, but you've been doing it for 5 years at another company and they're asking for your advice, you're an expert, right? You got 5 years of experience that they are willing to pay for, so they don't have to do 5 years of experience to actually get to the point where you're at. So the thing is, sometimes we've been doing something for so long that we don't realize how special and good we are at that thing. So when we help other people who need certain help or just starting out and want to learn the things that you already know, well, you're a genius. And so that's why people are willing to pay for your advice. It doesn't matter if you don't have a brand. If you can actually do the work and get the client the result they're looking for, you are a savior. So that's exactly why people will pay for your advice, but you have to make sure that you can actually deliver on what you promise. Now, the last way you can actually package and sell your skills is using some type of self-study program. So this usually takes a form of an online course. And for me, I also sell online courses. And why online courses are really good and really special is that when you're doing some type of coaching, consulting, training, or freelancing, right? You're doing work for another person, meaning you have to spend your time doing work, which is totally fine and you get paid for it. But when you do an online course, you're taking all the methodologies and knowledge that you use to train another person, but instead of training that person over the phone or in person, you just record yourself doing it so another person can watch it and get the same exact material. And so that's why people would pay for online courses, because sometimes they don't want to invest in a coach to train them every single week, but they're willing to pay a fraction of the price for an online course to get the exact same information in a neat package that they can watch anytime. So online courses, extremely valuable. And not only that, it's extremely scalable, because when you create an online course, and you sell it, you don't necessarily have to do more work after the person buys. You just have to support them, make sure they go through the program, and answer any questions that they have. It's still work, but it's not a lot of work compared to, let's say, one-on-one coaching. So once you create it once, you can sell it forever. And so that's one of the best things about online courses. The flip side, the con of doing online courses is that sometimes, you don't know whether or not people will buy it. So some people will spend months or years making an online course, and when they're finally ready to sell it, nobody buys. So it could be a complete waste of time if you don't know the demand of what people are looking for. And based on all the different ways you can sell your skills, from done for you, done with you, and online courses, in my opinion, online courses is probably the most difficult to make work, right? Because when you're selling your skills and you're just doing work for another person, it's very easy to close a customer because they're paying you for your time, right? But when you're doing an online course, they really have to trust the content in that course. And if you're selling it for a premium price, it's difficult to sell if you don't know exactly what your customers want. So my recommendation, if you're just starting out and you want to sell your skills and you want to start a side hustle, maybe while you're working and you want to, start your own business, I would actually just recommend selling your skills from a, done for you or done with you type of model, where you're just getting your foot wet and you're reaching out to customers and you're just selling services, right? You're doing something for them, and it's a lot easier for you to get easy wins because you can say, hey, I'll design your website, or I'll build your funnel, or I'll run your ads, or I'll do your sales. And people will be like, all right, cool, here's some money, and you do the work, right? It's a very fair transaction. And once you get the ball rolling and you start understanding like, okay, like I can actually sell my services, people like it, I'm getting the results that they're looking for, then you can actually think about productizing that knowledge into a course. And instead of doing the work for other people, you do sell the course and they do it themselves. But in the end, it really just depends on what you like doing. If you like one-on-one coaching, you like working with people and transforming their lives, then do that. You don't have to sell an online course, right? But if you, let's say you want to build a business that scales and you want to do online courses and you don't have time for one-on-one consulting, do that. So, I'm not going to say like you should do this versus that. I can only give my recommendation based on my experiences. But in the end, you got to look deep down in what type of business you want to start, because it's not about looking at other people and making, the most amount of money. It's about making the amount of money that makes you happy and makes you fulfilled in the life that you want to live. But the most important thing of them all is that you just gotta get started. So many people I know, they say they want to create an online course, they want to start their own business, and then years go by and they literally don't do anything. If you're looking to start a side hustle, just create some type of offer to somebody and see if they buy it. The moment you make your first dollar, that's when everything changes. You know, that's how it changed for me. And I know for other people, that's how it's changed for them, right? A lot of people try to be entrepreneurs for years and years and years. They never make a single dollar. But selling your skills is one of the fastest way to do it. You can literally do it within a month and get your first dollar. So I really hope you take that to heart and just get started. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you wanna see more videos about how to start your side business, because I really enjoy making these. And let me know in the comments if this is something you guys enjoy. I know I create a lot of sales content, but I notice a lot of people are consultants and entrepreneurs and coaches, so I made this video for you guys. So if you wanna see more about starting your own business and creating a six-figure business, leave it in the comments so I had some feedback on what to create. And if you want to learn more about how to create your side hustle or create a business, check out my other videos on exactly how to do that. So with that said, my name is Patrick Dang. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.